Welcome to Mme Mmatswale, episode 3 with Mother O. Thank you for watching and thank you for subscribing. Thank you for keeping on those likes coming and also the comments. Today's topic is learning from each other. But the big question is, do we ever learn from each other? The purpose of the topic today is for us to understand each other or to make an effort to understand or know each other better. It is also to acknowledge our differences and our similarities and to be able to embrace our differences, and most importantly is to understand that when we begin to know each other better, we will then be able to learn from each other. That is the only way we can be able to learn from each other. Today in our studio, we have our guest, Cindy Chauke, mother-in-law, and Alice Matendra, daughter-in-law. You are welcome in studio today. Can you please, Cindy, greet the viewers out there?
Greetings to you, Mother, and greetings to the viewers at home. And thank you for inviting us, Mother, into your show. We really appreciate the opportunity.
Welcome. Alice, can you say hello to the viewers?
Hello, Mama. Thank you for having us. Hello to the viewers.
Hello to the viewers.
Hi.
That's Alice. Alice, how long have you been married? And how has it been?
I've been married for 5 years, and it's been beautiful and challenging at the same time.
Beautiful and challenging.
But today we're going to focus on the beautiful.
How honest. Now, on a scale of 1 to 5, how would you rate your relationship in terms of fun between your mother-in-law and yourself? 5 being the highest.
Yes. It's definitely a 5, Mama.
No doubt about it.
No doubt about it.
Definitely. You have had it. Let's normalize beautiful, exciting relationships between mothers-in-law and daughters-in-law. Cindy, Alice is married to your firstborn son, close to your heart. And now it has been 5 years altogether. And how has it been?
So far, so good, Mother.
Mm-hmm.
I have a very beautiful daughter-in-law who takes very good care of me and who is not shutting me out of their lives. So they try to fit me in even when I'm not fitting. They try by all means that I feature somewhere, somehow.
Even if I'm not fitting, at least you know that you're not fitting. You know, sometimes mothers, I don't know whether they can see when they are not fitting. Yes. But Alice just rated your relationship, a 5. Would you agree that in terms of fun between you and Alice, the relationship on a scale of 1 to 5, did she give us the honest answer?
I think so. Not unless she wants something from me, then she can rate a 5. But honestly speaking, I think it is a 5. We really have a very good relationship with my daughter-in-law. Yes, we have our ups and downs like any other relationship and any other family, but we are having a very good and a solid relationship.
Yes. Mme Mmatswale, we are here to work on our relationships between our mothers-in-law and our daughters-in-law. We wish you to have an exciting journey together. Today, we are saying we are learning from each other. Life is constantly teaching us that we are mirrors of one another and that no one is an island. That is Eolic eyes. So I want us now to interrogate as to how well do we know and understand each other. For me, every time I call my mother-in-law, I'll make the call. I'm the one that initiates the call. But when she comes in, she takes over the call. Maybe I'll be calling because I need something very important and very urgent. She'll take over. Say, hello, Mama. And she'll go, yes, how are you? I missed you. And she will be telling me about all the other things, her chickens. Now I want a roof for my chicken house, and the feed is gone, and this and that. And 5 minutes into the conversation, she'll be saying, thank you so much for calling, greet the kids there, and bye-bye. But Gogo, I'm the one that called. Shouldn't I be given the opportunity to say something? At least hear me out what I wanted. So I know that every time I call, we try to make some rules and all that around that when I call, I must be the first to be heard, and then she can make some additions. So, but now after 30 years, we have come to understand those simple things that could otherwise make someone to be sour. So how well must or should the mothers-in-law and daughters-in-law strive to know each other and understand each other? What is the importance of knowing and understanding each other? Can you just enlighten us, Mam Cindy?
Okay, thank you, Mother. I think in any relationship, knowing each other and understanding each other is very, very much important. Because if you don't know and understand each other, it's easy to take offense unnecessarily. So we have made an effort, me and my daughter-in-law. She's been married for 5 years. She forgot to mention that they've been together for 10 years.
Wow.
Yes.
A secret is out, guys. 10 years all together.
Yes.
And you're still both looking very good, by the way.
Yes.
Looking
Thank you,
very
Thank you,
good.
Mother.
I wouldn't guess that you're a mother-in-law, and I wouldn't guess that you are married. It's like
Thank
you're
you,
still
Mother.
on the market. You're still hot, baby. Very hot. Keep it up.
Yeah. So ever since I knew her, we made an effort each and every day when we are together to get to know and understand each other so that we have a good, solid relationship that will not be disturbed by any petty stuff, petty things, that are not supposed to crumble a relationship. So it is very, very much important that you know and understand them and not try to change them and not wanting them to live up to your standards, accepting them the way they are. It is important. It makes the relationship to go smooth, and it makes the life easier for your son as well. If I understand Alice understands me. So Katie is happy, he's a peaceful man, because the two favorite ladies in his life, they are getting along very, very well. There are no conflicts, there is nothing. He doesn't have to stand and choose sides. So we are putting her in a good position where he's comfortable and happy. So it is important to know and understand each other very well.
Very, very profound. I like it when she says, you accept, you understand. Don't try to change. The acceptance is very critical. And also knowing that you are not only doing it for yourself, you're also doing it for your son also. Alice.
Yes, Mama.
In terms of knowing and understanding each other, mothers-in-law, daughters-in-law, if we don't make an effort, are there any consequences or what would be the consequences if we don't make an effort to understand and know each other?
I believe there's going to be a lot of conflict, disagreement, and people being misunderstood, because a lot of the time you will not understand the next person. So you need to take time to learn and understand one another so that you build. I mean, as a Makoti, you come in to build, not to divide the people. So when you come in, you must come in with the spirit of building. I'm here to build, and I'm here to blend with the family. I'm not here to change a lot of things, but I'm here to blend and, fit in with everyone.
So much wisdom. It says, I'm here to build. I'm here to blend. So purpose in your heart, when you join the family, you are there to build, you are there to blend. So most of the time, when we are at conflict, because what I heard from you, you said, you need to take time to know each other.
Yes.
So most of the time you find the reason why we are at conflict is that the sources of information about each other are not you yourselves. There are third parties that are involved that keeps giving you the information that you keep questioning about your mother-in-law, questioning about your daughter-in-law. So let us question our source of information about each other. So let us take time to personally know each other, understand each other without having third-hand information from others. Now, what is it that we should be focusing on knowing about each other? You know, when I got married, my father passed on when I was 9 years old. I got married when I was 22 years. So by the time I got married, I did not have an understanding as to a family setup where there is a father figure should look like and how people behave around the father. So when I got married, my husband has both parents. God has blessed him with both parents. Even to this day, they are still alive. You get there, you don't know whether you greet standing, you greet kneeling, you don't know when you bring the food, you must, you really don't understand. So for me, it was like a total change altogether. When coming to the house chores, you must iron, first time, you must iron your father-in-law's shirt. And, the sleeves are this big. When you iron this side, the pleats, that other side, they crease. So how important, because that is where my mother-in-law had to come in, show me and, So how important it is to understand backgrounds of each other, upbringing of each other, so that when I don't know how to iron the crease, when I don't know whether I'm kneeling or not, so my mother-in-law should understand and bring me in. How important is it for us to understand each other and the background? Cindy?
The background and the upbringing, it influences the behavior of a person. So here is this young girl coming into your family and they start to behave in a certain way that you don't like. So if you don't understand where they come from, if you don't understand what they went through, who raised them, what happened to them when they were young, you would think they are disrespectful when they behave in a certain way, whereas it's a reaction that comes from how they were brought up and some of the experiences that they had growing up. If I can make an example, Alice lost someone who is very significant in her life when she was a little girl. And I also lost someone very significant while I was still a very little girl. And that background is very, very important for you as a mother-in-law to know and understand. And it's also very important for Alice to know and understand that background about me, so that if I behave in a certain manner, if I'm emotionally all over the place, she needs to understand that I'm just having that moment of my life. So it's very, very important to know your daughter-in-law and the daughter-in-law to know me, my background, and who raised me. Alice was raised by her grandmother. So there are certain things that she doesn't know because there wasn't a mother figure to guide her as to how do you go about doing this thing? How do you behave when you get to that family? There was no one guiding her with regards to that. So she comes into this family. You need to understand that as a mother, I had to step in and teach her to do certain things, and she must also be teachable because that's important so that we get along very well. So upbringing and background is very important for us to understand.
That is quite deep. That is quite deep. And I like it that you were able to identify, the common things in your background, and also to go deeper, not just looking at her and looking at each other, from the reactions and, the behaviors that are there, but going down, understanding what causes, want to behave the way we behave. It is not about what you see. It is about taking time to understand, to know, what informs the behavior. Upbringing and also your background is very important because we carry it into the relationships. Alice, now getting to know your mother-in-law and mothers-in-law, getting to know their daughters-in-law. How important are likes and dislikes, or they don't matter at all? Understanding those.
They do, mother. You need to understand what your mother-in-law likes and what she doesn't like. I was privileged because with Mama, I stayed with her for quite some time before being a daughter-in-law officially. So in that time, I got an opportunity to learn, to learn her and to know how she does things. So it made it easy for me when I entered as a daughter-in-law now, that I know what she likes, I know what she doesn't like, and how I can, try to impress her. Because now I know my mother likes fashion. So when you're coming in now, you come with a bag there, you come with earrings. So you're just like, mama go patele this, and then you are building, something. And then she tends to have a soft spot, and then those things that my interest in tend to become something that you enjoy, and you end up doing them together. So it moves from all the dislikes, and then now you focus on the things that you both like, and you build from there.
You have had it for yourself. You have had it for yourself. Find out what you like. Find out what your mother-in-law likes. Buy her if you can.
Yes.
So you find out what your daughter-in-law likes. And measure on your likes and not on your differences, and not on your dislikes. Avoid the things that you don't like together, but work on, come together, because that will be an icebreaker. You'll be able to communicate better, understand each other better, learn from each other better when you know what the likes and the dislikes are. Cindy, what are some of the fears that mothers-in-law have? I'm not talking about you. Mothers-in-laws in general, what are the fears that they carry into the relationship when the daughter-in-law steps in? What are those common fears like? Or they are not afraid at all?
I don't think they are not afraid. I think every mother-in-law who's having her son, he's about to get married, everyone gets scared. And most of the time, it's fear of the unknown, because you don't know what the future holds for your son. Remember, you've been with this boy, ever since he was born. He's your little boy, and now he's 20, he's 22, and he needs to grow. He must grow. He must get married. He must have his own family. So you can't hold on to him as a little boy like you did when he was 9 years old. So you need to allow them to do that. In as much as you are scared, you fear the unknown. What's going to happen now that he's getting married to this other woman? Is she going to take over? Is she taking my place in my son's life? Is she gonna still allow me into my son's life? So those are the fears. But if you have a daughter-in-law like my daughter-in-law, she makes it easy for me. The fears, they were easily blown away because she made it easy for me. She didn't come in and wanted to take over. She didn't bulldoze me. She still ensured that I am into their lives at most of the time.
Wow, that is a mouthful. So the fears are there. We acknowledge the fears, because the first place is that you acknowledge that I am afraid. If you don't acknowledge that you are afraid, then you will not be able to deal with the behavior patterns that comes out of those fears. And also for the daughters-in-law to acknowledge that the mother-in-law is afraid, that you lose the child, you are fading off in the picture in terms of the life of your beloved son. So, Alice, how important it is for mothers-in-law also to, to understand that it's not over with their children, or, their sons when they get married. How important is it for daughters-in-law to make their mothers-in-law comfortable and ease the way she explains it? I wish all daughters-in-law can make sure that they make their mothers-in-law comfortable, and then there will be happiness, perhaps.
Definitely, Mama. I think one of the most important thing is to establish communication between you and your mother-in-law, so that it's easy. If there are issues, you can easily talk about them. But also, what is very, very important is for the daughter-in-law to involve the mother-in-law. Because if, let's take, we're buying a house with my husband, and then we don't tell her, she finds out 6 months down the line,
Wow.
Then she will feel offended. So I think things like when you buy a car, you want to move, or those are things that you tell her, even though she won't play any role in the decision making, but she must know because she's still part of our family. So those are the things. So I think it's very, very important to involve your mother-in-law.
I also want to be involved. So mothers-in-law, they really need to be involved to a certain extent. You don't have to, to involve them in choosing the location and all that, but at least inform that we have taken a step. At one point, they must be, informed to say, okay, we have got a new house, we have got a new accusation, okay, I am pregnant, all those type of things that, they are dear to the mothers-in-law, so that they are kept in the loop, that they are not really redundant and, away with the mother-in-law. So on that note, Makoti also has a personality. We need to acknowledge that in our differences, Makoti also can bring some color. Sometimes the differences that are there is just about the personality. You are too loud. You are too shy. You are too quiet. You don't love us. You are too loud. You are taking over. So if we can allow mothers-in-law, daughters-in-law to also have personality. So let's learn to understand also the personalities that are there. What are those common basic needs that each person has that run across mothers-in-law and daughters-in-law? I know for sure that every person deep down, they have the desire to be loved. They have the desire to be understood. They have the desire to be accepted and not rejected. They have that desire that, they can be approved, they can be encouraged. Everybody has got that deep laid desire. So it is for the mothers-in-law, they need to know that they are worth something. They are worth a 2 cents. And the daughters-in-law also, they want to be assured that they are worth something. As a mother-in-law, are you able to identify the basic needs of your daughters-in-law? Do you feel like what you need, the assurances that you need, because the mothers-in-law are afraid, when they come into the relationship. The daughters-in-law, I can assure you, they are also afraid. They don't know whether they will be accepted, they will be loved, whether they will fit in. So there's mutual fear that is there, if I have to say it. So do mothers-in-law understand or acknowledge or know that there's this common things that has to be a give and take? Give and take. It's not give me only.
Mother, everyone has needs, basic needs. Those are basic needs that each and every person in life needs. Even the poor of the poorest, they've got needs. So we need to understand that in having those needs, you're not the only one who is in need. She is also in need. So you have to give what you need. I need love. I need to be loved. I need to be respected. I need to be acknowledged. And because I need all those things, I have to give them to her so that she gives back what I am giving, because you get what you give. So it is very, very much important to know, and not to be selfish as a mother-in-law, because some mothers-in-law are selfish. They want to take and take. They don't want to give. They want to be loved by their daughters-in-law, yet they don't love them. They want to be accepted by them, yet they don't accept them. So it is very much important to bear in mind that even as you present your needs to your daughter-in-law, to your son, that I still need you guys to love me. I need you guys to respect me, to acknowledge me, to remember that they also need that from you.
Yeah. So it is a give and take. You invest some love, you'll have love back. So if you did not invest love, you will not have it at all. It works both ways. Can you identify, Alice, when your mother-in-law is acting out? You know, sometimes mothers-in-laws are tricky. They are very tricky. Can you identify at this time, my mother-in-law just needs attention? Yes. When, you know, on these basic things, you know, now she's shouting, now she's doing this, and you know deep down it's because 3 months you have never called or you have never set food. When she is acting out, can you acknowledge, or can you see it, or daughters-in-law can see it, instead of, you know, being petty and looking at, you know, what she is doing and how she's doing it, and look as to what are the real needs of the mother-in-law. Same with the daughters-in-law.
Yes. Mine, it's funny, Mama, because like I said, my mom is very straightforward. So she calls. If you don't call her within 2 days, she's going to call us and ask, oh, send alumni Mai. So now you have another mother somewhere. So for us, because she's straightforward, she tells us when we're not giving her attention or we're not visiting her. But I think in general, because we have established this line of communication, it makes it easy for us to say, okay, now you didn't do 1, 2, 3, but you know how I do 1, 2, 3. So I think also, I'm going back to the point of involving your mother. I think they love feeling involved and celebrated, because in one way or another, they gave birth to the son that is your husband now. So you must always remind them that you are the queen. So I think give them attention every now and again. Give them the attention they need.
Keep it coming. We want that attention. Everybody needs that attention. Yes. Mothers-in-law need attention. They want to be celebrated. The daughters-in-law, they want to be accepted, celebrated also. Give me the attention, and you'll see I will dance. People behave in certain ways when they don't receive basic needs. I watched a movie, Monster-in-Law. So I don't want to be a monster-in-law. So how you deal with your mother-in-law can be a monster-in-law or mother-in-love. So self-awareness, on the other hand, on our part, is very critical for us to know that now I am needy. Now I am at this stage. So as to be able to control our actions. So, Ma'am Cindy, in what way are we different? I know one of the things that is common here, of which is not very, it's a very thin line. They can say it's your sister. One of the things that is common across mothers-in-law and daughters-in-law would be the age gap. You know, in the, age gap, age is everything. How I got into the marriage and how she gets into the marriage because of the age gap. I got married in 1980 something, and then she gets married, in 2000 or whatever, 2000. So age is something that we can't run away. Yes. So what would be the attitude? What should be the attitude in terms of dealing with these differences that are there? Because the differences are there, we have to live with them. And what should be our attitude, our mindset when we deal with these differences?
Mother, that's a very important question that we are asking, because the way in which you approach as a mother-in-law, if you have differences with your daughter, is very, very important. I think we have to approach the that we take a positive approach rather than a negative approach. We mustn't be quick to judge. We mustn't be quick to criticize. So it goes back to knowing and understanding each other. So, because if you know and understand each other, some of the attitudes you'll be able, the differences, you'll be able to understand where they are coming from. It goes back to understanding and knowing the background and the upbringing. So you'll be able to understand, why are we different? We were not raised in the same family. We were not raised in the same year. She was born in 1990. I was born in the 1970s. So she is a millennium, I'm an X generation. So that's a huge difference. We do things differently. We need to acknowledge that as mothers-in-law, that she's not going to come into my family and start behaving the way that I am behaving. No, she wasn't brought up in those years. She is brought up, and things are changing every time, all the time. Children that will be raising 10 years from now, they won't be behaving the same way that she is behaving. So we need to approach, the differences positively, and, so that we don't cause conflicts, unnecessary conflicts in the family, and maintain the peace.
Wow. It is important to have a different mindset. Be accommodative. Be, don't be quick to judge. You walk in and say, she does not know what she's doing. Then you want to teach without understanding, where they come from. Hold on a bit. The millenniums also, they'll teach you some few things, some few tricks. With us, we had, these massive houses, 5, 10 bedrooms and all that. The millenniums are understanding that, no, with the budget that is there, you need to go, smaller. And then if you have to go for recreational, when they choose where they stay, it's close by to the recreational places. They don't have to cook every day. They are calculating. If you are cooking, the mess, the time that you have to clean up after that. So we need to be able to accept those differences and understand and work around those differences. Alice, dealing with the, I can't say dinosaurs. People like us, mothers-in-law like us, that are thinking, ways of thinking are like, tuka, van tuka af, back in our days, and we'll keep reminding you, by the way, that in our days, this was done this way. So how do you handle those differences? Or how should Bomakoti handle those differences?
I think it's important for us as the young Makotis to respect the mother-in-law, because they know what they know, and we also know what we know. But I think we must come to an agreement, or come to a platform where we say, what can I learn from you and what can I teach you, so that we can move together. It doesn't stop from you knowing things from the millenniums, and then I'm giving you the recent ones, the what's happening now. So I think we must work together and put the information that you have, and I give you the information that I have now, and we build that and make something.
What is your mother-in-law learning now? Just from you.
She won't agree.
What is it?
Fashion.
Is that true?
Fashion. Mother, I'm the one who taught her fashion. I'm the one who taught her how to apply lipstick and do the eyebrows. So now she's telling me that she's teaching me fashion.
So you're busy learning?
No, I'm not learning. She's the one learning from me.
No, Mama.
She's learning, eh?
Yeah, she's
the
learning.
newer styles.
Yes.
Yes, I'm learning, Mother, new styles. But I'm the one who laid a foundation on what she's teaching me now.
You've got it. Differences are not always a bad thing. They are, in fact, normal. So differences can also be healthy in where there is weaknesses in another. You then support one another. So how can we learn from each other now? We are summing up now. How can we learn from each other? We have so far discussed understanding and knowing each other. We have discussed the similarities and the differences. Now that we understand, we acknowledge that we can learn. So what you have learned from your mother in love is what you've told us, fashion. And then what is it that you, okay, if it is not fashion, what is it that you can say you have learned from your daughter-in-law now?
I'm learning a lot. We need to understand, Mother, that when you allow yourself to learn, you are allowing your knowledge to expand. And there are skills that you are acquiring at the same time. So I am the kind of a person, some of the things I don't tell her that I learned from you. I just look at her when she does things, and then I go back and do them as if I'm the one, I'm doing it by myself, whereas I learn from her. So there are a lot of things that I'm actually learning, because like she said, that if you take what she knows as a millennium generation, and I take what I know as an X generation, we put that together, we collaborate. Collaboration, it brings out something beautiful, something new, something fresh. So, I learn a lot, and I'm still going to learn a lot from her. There are a lot of things that she's teaching me, and mostly the new trends of fashion. She's telling the truth, actually. She's teaching me that, Mama,
fashion,
this is...
I can see, I can see.
Mama, this is...
the earrings, I can see.
Yeah, Mama, no, you can't wear like this now. This is not... it's not on these days. So, you need to change this, you need to change this and that, yeah.
So what we have discussed today should be the beginning for us to learn from each other. It opens up our eyes, I believe, that we can learn from each other. So we are summing up right now. What are your closing remarks to the viewers? What can you leave, the thought that you leave with the viewers out there?
Having a good relationship with your daughter-in-law is very, very important. I have that attitude that I love my son so much, and I don't want anyone who is coming after 20 years coming into my family and make me fight with my son. I'm not going to allow that. Instead, I'm going to make sure that whoever my son is bringing, the wife that she's bringing into my house, I'm going to love her, I'm going to accept her, so that I don't lose my son. Because I don't want to lose my son, I make sure that I have a good relationship with her. And Naya, because she doesn't want to lose my son, she makes sure that she has a good relationship with me. So, it's very, very important. It makes a very a healthy family, and it makes their marriage strong, because they don't have to discuss your mother-in-law, your mother this, your mother that, they focus on themselves. They focus on their marriage. They focus on much more important things than focusing on discussing what your mother did while you were at work this afternoon. So,
wow. That is awesome, to have mothers-in-law that are full of wisdom. Alice, your closing remarks.
For me, Mama, I would just say it's important also to understand where you come from, and how God, the reason why God placed you in that family. Because for me, I think it's a testimony, because I found a mother. I hardly call her my mother-in-law or my mother-in-law. I call her Mama. That's what I call her, because in her I found a mother. So as young ladies out there that are getting in marriage or whatever, you must not be quick to say, this is my mother-in-law, because you don't know what God has purposed for you and for your life. So it's important that you open your heart and you open your spiritual eyes and ears, so you listen to God on how to treat this woman, because you don't know, maybe you're getting the family and it's only boys, and the mother was praying to have a girl, and now God is bringing that girl to her, and you now come and you're causing yes. So it's important that you come in and you present yourself, so that if you are the daughter she's been praying for, then her prayers are answered, and my prayers were answered as well. So I think find a purpose in your marriage and in your in-laws with why you're there. And so I think that's very important.
That's deep. You should never try to be better than someone else. You should always be learning from others. but you should never cease trying to be the best you could be, because that's under your control and the other one isn't. John Wooden. On that note, I want to say thank you for watching. Continue to subscribe and sharing. Next week, we are going to discuss the role, clarification, and boundaries. Role clarification and boundaries between mothers-in-law and daughters-in-law. From me, Mother O, at Mme Mmatswale, thank you very much. See you again next week.